Namaste, goddesses. On this free day, welcome to yet another episode of Planet Aphrodite with Meenal. Robin Sharma says, one of the greatest of all human hungers is the longing to feel heard. How many of you can resonate to this? Are you listening to this, goddess? One of the greatest of all human hungers is a longing to feel heard. In my journey of self love, what I realized is I never listened to myself. People who know me, they know that I talk a lot and I even offer a listening ear. But the funny part was, I never listened to myself. And because I was not there to talk about myself, there was nobody to listen to me about myself. It's so ironical that many a times things that we wish that others will do for us, or maybe they will read our mind and do it. We don't do it for our own self. Theme of today's episode is conversation that we have with ourselves. So, what kind of conversation are you having? Are you ignoring yourself? Like I used to ignore myself. Like I would not talk to myself at all. I was usually keeping myself occupied with conversations with others or reading or doing something. But I never sat with myself, spoke to myself. Or whenever you are talking to yourself, are you comparing yourself with others? Or are you talking to yourself in a way that you will not talk to your best friend? Putting yourself down, saying you're not good enough, you're not lucky, you always do things like this, you always make a mess out of it, you don't know what you're doing. What kind of conversation are you having with yourself? So, this is very important that we take out time for ourselves and we consider ourselves important enough to talk to. You are getting me, goddess? That you have to take out time for yourself and you are worthy enough to be spoken with and to be listened to with utmost love and care. Just like your best friend will listen to you, you have to listen to yourself with that much care and importance. So, once you have taken out time for yourself and you have considered yourself, okay, I'm worthy of listening to, what is the next step? It's perfectly fine, whatever you want to talk. So, give yourself permission to listen to everything that you have to say. It may sound very ironic because the listener and the speaker both are the same person. Many of you might be doing the similar exercise wherein you talk to yourself and you listen to yourself, whatever is there, whatever is bothering you, whatever is nudging you, or it could be something that you feel proud of, you are happy about, and you just want to share and celebrate that. So take out time for yourself and listen to yourself and make it a very meaningful, beautiful conversation. It could be over a cup of tea. It could be with among it could be sitting in the balcony on a rocking chair, or it could be in a corner with your favorite journal. You can choose any which ways. The important thing is that you'll take time out for yourself and listen to yourself and stay as positive when you are listening. You can become negative when you are speaking because there are two roles that you have to fulfill. So, the one role is speaking it out, everything that you want to speak out. Feel free to say that and listen to yourself without any judgment. Listen to yourself without any moral conditioning, any right or wrong. And it's perfectly fine to lift yourself up if you find yourself falling. It's perfectly fine to do so. And when you're listening to yourself, do not judge yourself, because everybody else around us, most of the times, we cannot share to them because we fear the judgment. So at least to yourself, do not judge yourself. And once you start writing and you start pouring your heart out, you accept, because that is the person's perspective. So you just accept whatever the person has said. That is, in this case, it is you. So you just accept whatever the person has said. And once that is said, think of a friend, think of somebody that you love very, very much. What kind of kind words will you share with them? Okay. So once you start doing this exercise of talking to yourself and pouring everything out and listening to yourself in that safe space, and then accepting without any judgment and saying only the kind words, this process itself is very, very soothing and healing. So this week, I invite you to do this exercise with me, wherein you speak to yourself and you listen to yourself 100%. And more you do this, like, it took me many years to even realize that I do not talk to myself or about myself. Whatever I'm going through, maybe my best friends won't know, because I always had this, like, why would somebody listen to me? And I am an extrovert, and people assume that because I'm an extrovert, I will talk about myself. So it took me many years to accept that I do not talk about myself, my personal challenges. It's just with me. And even I was not talking that. I was not being kind enough to myself to listen to that story that I have in my head. And just listening to yourself and being there for yourself gives you so much freedom that you do not have to depend on anybody. If nobody is offering you a patient ear, at least you are there for yourself, isn't it? So I would like to know, what kind of conversation are you having with yourself? Do not compare yourself, do not demean yourself, do not judge yourself. Be kind and compassionate to yourself. And it's a journey. So it may start with just the acknowledgement of the fact that you deserve to be spoken to in a very kind manner. And then allow it to unfold, the journey with self, to speak, to listen to accept, and again, to support. So this week, let us do that. How does this make you feel? Giving yourself permission to talk to yourself. Society never taught me this. I was never taught. I was told to share my things to others, and I always have the fear of being judged. So you are very fortunate if you're with people who don't judge you. But it's very rare to find such people who don't judge you. At least the least that we can do is not judge ourselves. So are you ready to do that, Goddess, for this week? for this day, every day decide to have a meaningful conversation with yourself and do not judge yourself. So every week in the month of July, we are walking towards our freedom. We will bring out the interview series from the month of August. And I'm really enjoying the way you are receiving these messages, these small steps of journey inside. It's not easy. There is no right or wrong way. I'm just sharing whatever I did with myself in my journey of self-love. And I would look forward to hear your views and your tools and your suggestions for strengthening the bond with self that you took. I look forward to hear your stories, your tools, your methods to strengthen the bond of self-love. And with that, my message to you is increase the dose of self-love. It can cause a lot of miracles. Thank you. Have a great week ahead. Please do not forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and share it with Goddess who needs to hear this message. Thank you.